Hey everybody, welcome back to an episode of the 3 Count. I'm War Machine MJ, and I'm here today to talk about NXT from June the 17th. Let's go ahead and just dive right on into the show. Sorry, I went a little bit Outback Steakhouse with that. Dive on in. Is that Outback Steakhouse, or am I just remembering that episode of American Dad? Whatever. We kicked off the show with the NXT Tag Team Championships as Imperium. Marcel Barthel and Fabian Eichner took on not Breezango, but the team of Emporium with Marsupial and damn it. Well, basically, it was Breezango making fun of Imperium. And they had a club remix of Imperium's theme, which is New World Symphony. Basically, Imperium didn't take too kindly to this and just proceeded to beat the brakes off of Breezango. Of course, Breezango, being the wily veterans that they were, took some punishment and dealt it back. Towards the finish of this match, however, Indusher came out, made their presence known before they could get into any funny business. Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch beat them down, and while all four men were scrapping, Tyler Breeze threw Barthel back into the ring. And when Tyler Breeze got on the apron, Barthel knocked him off into the four-man melee on the outside. Fandango rolled up Marcel Barthel, but he wasn't legal, so Fabian Eichner hit Fandango with a DDT and got the victory. Next, we had a Dexter... not Dexter, I'm sorry. A Velveteen Dream promo where he was interviewed by Tom Phillips on what's next, and Velveteen Dream was like, how has this not happened? How have you not interviewed the Velveteen Dream? And then while he was going on and on about himself, there was a nice little caricature of Dexter Lumis and Velveteen Dream holding the NXT tag team straps. Velveteen Dream picked the piece of paper up and he's just like, this means nothing. Don't get it twisted. Dexter Lumis helped me out at In Your House, so I return the favor. This means nothing. The Velveteen Dream is a solo act. Next, we had a battle of two big bastards as Damian Priest took on the returning Killian Dane, which it's been a minute since we've seen Killian Dane. I can't remember when the last time we saw Dane was. It was a good long while. Yeah, basically it was just two big beefy bastards beating the hell out of each other. Damian Priest with his injured lower back from his match against Balor at In Your House, and Killian Dane still having rib issues. But Damian Priest did get the victory over Killian Dane with the Reckoning. And during the commercial, as Killian Dane was walking back to the backstage, he spot Robert Stone, who was a mess on the other side of the barricade. He was just kind of propped up, looking like he ain't showered in weeks. He had a bottle in a brown paper bag, which is supposed to mean he was hitting the bottle. It's just kind of slumped over. Dane just kind of roared as he smacked the panel, scaring Robert Stone out of his seat. Come back from commercial, and next it's Aaliyah taking on Xia Li. Of course, Aaliyah spots the drunk and depressed Robert Stone and helps him towards the ring apron to watch her match. Aaliyah and Xia Li are going back and forth. Of course, there's the threat of Xia Li breaking Aaliyah's nose, and these two haven't come to their impasse yet. Down the stretch, when Xia Li was had the ball rolling, the disheveled Robert Stone got up on the apron, and the referee's just like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And then he proceeds to blow chunks in the ring, distracting Xia Li just long enough for Aaliyah to roll her up and get the victory. And then Aaliyah tried to celebrate with the drunken Robert Stone brand. Oh, sorry, I was reading a Twitter post. Anyway, next we had okay, so that wasn't trying to be clever wordplay. We had the next installment of Timothy Thatcher's Thatch as Thatch Can style wrestling lessons, where he just proceeded to stretch out two recruits, stretched while demonstrating the Fujiwara armbar and the double wrist lock, respectively. So yeah, he's going to go Heart Dungeon on them real fast. Next, and this one cracked me the hell up. Bobby Fish and Adam Cole taking Roderick Strong to get some undisputed therapy. Of course, they decide that they were going to fix this problem, the Roderick Strong Dexter Lumis problem, in-house. So they go and see this therapist, who is Kyle O'Reilly in disguise with a phony accent. Roderick Strong wasn't looking at the therapist the whole time, so he didn't know that was Kyle O'Reilly. But Bob Fish, Adam Cole, they knew. They do the Rorschach test. And then the therapist gets the bright idea that Roderick Strong needs to confront his fears about being, shoved in the back of the trunk. Then Bob Fish, Kyle O'Reilly, Bob Fish, Adam Cole, and Roddy Strong, are there so Roderick Strong can get in the, in the trunk. Roderick Strong's like, I can do this. No, I'm not going to. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to do this. He starts to step in. And he's like, I can't do this, and he just hightails it on. And Cole looks at Fish, and he's just like, aside from him running off, I think we made some progress. Yep. We gotta go pick him up. So that was pretty hilarious. I got a good kick out of that. Next, Adam Cole with some obvious product placement from Sonic. The whole episode was being brought to you by Sonic, or one match was brought to you by Sonic, whatever. Basically, Adam Cole was interviewed about the ominous hourglass that Scarlett left in the ring last week. And, Adam Cole wasn't too interested in the, he went on, and in the background you see Keith Lee's just, time to make my presence known. He just stumbles up on there. And, he picks up the hourglass, and, he gives it a good look. He's like, well, Adam Cole, your time as champion is limited. Then he just, spiked it. And then Adam Cole just kind of walked off. Like, no, I don't want to deal with this right now. So, Adam Cole came to the ring to talk about his NXT Championship reign, and then he decided maybe I'm going to pick up the North American Championship from Keith Lee as well. This brought out the aforementioned North American Champion, who is still aiming to take the NXT Championship off of Adam Cole. Then came Johnny Gargano. Um, yeah, I forgot what Gargano's whole argument was because he was interrupted by Finn Balor. Of course, Finn Balor then he said, "Well, since you guys are done being marks for yourselves, now that I'm here, you can be a mark for me again." Of course, Johnny's great line was, "Well, first of all, my name's not Mark, so you can stop saying it." It's hilarious. But yeah, Finn Balor says he's coming for Keith Lee's North American Championship. Then he said, "When I'm done with that, I'm going to be coming for you." Pointing at Adam Cole and his NXT Championship. Then he just kind of finger guns his head. He's just like, "What? What's that? What are you doing?" "Oh, that's just where I'm going to punch you." And before all four men could scrap, William Regal was on the video screen, and he basically announced that next week will be start of the double gold. Wrong promotion. Basically, next week is going to be a triple threat match for the North American Championship, which Keith Lee will defend against Balor and Gargano, with the winner facing Adam Cole in a winner-take-all match. Of course, rumored innuendo is that is NXT's way of trying to compete with AEW's Fyter Fest. Next, we had Dakota Kai taking on Caden Carter. Of course, Dakota Kai was flanked by Raquel Gonzalez, and Caden Carter was flanked by Casey Catanzaro. Decent match, but Dakota Kai got the victory over Caden Carter with the Koji Clutch. Next, we had a Mercedes Martinez video package, basically hyping her up. Next, we had Leon Ruff getting squashed by Bronson Reed. And basically, Bronson Reed was once again using Leon Ruff as a message. Well, I say once again because has been his third appearance in a row where he's just been a murder victim to either Bronson Reed, Tommaso Ciampa, or Karrion Kross. Of course, Karrion Kross did get called out by Bronson Reed, who tried to use Bronson Reed as an example before heading into In Your House to take on Ciampa. Afterwards, Bronson Reed helped Leon Ruff up, picked him over his shoulder, and walked him to the back. A clear sign of sportsmanship. Then there was a backstage segment where Cameron Grimes slashed Damian Priest's car tires, so those two are going to butt heads in the ring sooner rather than later. Next, we had a promo from Santos Escobar, the former El Hijo de Fantasma. Of course, he talked about his history wearing the mask, basically saying, it translates to the son of the Phantasma, or son of the ghost, or son of the phantom, or son of the spirit, whatever loose translation you want to use. But he said, "Yeah, my father told me I was going to be the greatest, I was going to be amazing, fantastic, I will be legendary. But here, I'm just a mask." So I decided to carve out my own legacy. I'm going to be a leader. Raul Mendoza, Joaquin Wilde, I'm going to make you a leader. And he basically called his little faction something that loosely translates to the League of the son of the Phantasm, of Phantasma, or ghost, spirit, whatever. Of course, Drake Maverick then interrupted his promo saying, congratulations, you fooled us all. But Drake Maverick has more guts than brains, and of course he threw himself into a fight with Santos Escobar and came out short on a 3-on-1 assault. Of course, Drake Maverick got put through a table by Santos Escobar with the Phantom Driver, or Thrill of the Hunt, if you will. Next, there was a couple of matches announced for next week. We had Damian Priest taking on Cameron Grimes, as I mentioned earlier. Bronson Reed taking on Karrion Kross, and the triple threat for the North American Championship. There was a backstage vignette. It was very, very tiny, but it basically picked up on the shattered hourglass from earlier, where it showed Scarlett walking up to it, just grabbing a fistful of sand and then dropping it as Karrion Kross's big old boot just crunched some glass, which that can't be good for your boots. You don't want that glass just poking straight through, going in your foot. Yeah. It's no es bueno. Anyway, and that leads us to our main event, as Sasha Banks and Bayley, the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, defended their belts against Tegan Nox and Shotzi Blackheart. This was a fantastic match, but down the stretch, Shotzi Blackheart had Sasha Banks in the cattle mutilation, and Bayley decides to bring in a chair. Tegan Nox intercepted the chair, and as both women, as Tegan Nox had the referee distracted, Bayley assisted her friend and turned the cattle mutilation into the bank statement to make Shotzi tap out. And while Bayley and Sasha were trash talking the NXT Women's Locker Room, the NXT Women's Champion, Little Miss Io Shirai, came out of nowhere and beat the holy hell out of Bayley and Banks, driving them from the black and yellow brand. So, yeah, that's how we close out NXT for this week. Remember, if you miss Rod's opinions, he has a podcast, Prime Talk with Rodimus Prime, on the Castbox app. Go check it out. That being said, I'm War Machine MJ. This has been 3 Count. You've been awesome. Thank you guys, and I'll see you next time. Ba-bang.